You're dialed in to the Dealer Playbook podcast, where it's all about winning auto dealer strategies that deliver proven results. And now your hosts, Robert Wiesman and Michael Cirillo.
Hey, and welcome to episode 26 of the Dealer Playbook podcast. My name is Michael Cirillo. I'm joined with my partner in crime, Robert Wiesman. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing excellent, Michael, and I am pumped up as always.
Hey, we're so excited to bring you this episode. I know that I say that every week, but you are here and you're going to get some incredible strategies that you can translate to profitability for your dealership, because that's what we do here on the podcast. Today, we're sitting down with Matt Koenig. He's the founder of Konig Co, and he has a really cool presentation that he's going to share with us titled The 3 M's of Automotive Marketing. He's an incredible thought leader. He's going to share some awesome insights that you can take to the bank. And so without further ado, let's jump into our sit-down interview with Matt Koenig.
Let's do it.
All right, and we are here with the founder and leader, fierce leader of one of the leading or the leading mobile marketing company for automotive dealers in the United States, Mr. Matt Koenig. That's right, pronounced Koenig. Last name, not to be confused with his company, Konig Co. Matt, thanks for joining us today.
Michael, what is up with you? Yeah, Michael's been on like a name, revealing people's last name, like the proper pronunciation of names on the past couple
I'll tell you what, I read a book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. You want to know the number one reason why people don't do business with other people? Because they got their name wrong.
Point.
I'm not going to lie, I was getting excited by the hyping up of my name. That was great.
There you go.
He's a pitch man. He's a pitch man.
And you're here with us, some might say finally, right?
I would say finally, because I've listened and been longing to be a guest on the show, because I love hearing you guys. It always gets me pumped up.
Matt, that's awesome, man. But here's certain people we wanted to build up build a little mountain, build the audience up a little bit, and get them on there, get you in front of more people, get your message, out there to help as many people as possible. Which that is what Matt is going to bring today with the topic of the 3 M's of automotive success. I'm pretty excited, Matt. So tell us what are the 3 M's of automotive success that you're talking about?
Right. Great question. Matt, and Matt. No. So, I mean, realistically, here's the thing, right? I mean, there's a lot of talk. There are a bunch of buzzwords out there. You hear everybody go, millennials, right? Millennials, let's focus on them. Mobile. There's one M that Chrysler's talked about a lot. Automotive News has touched on a lot, but a lot of dealers they haven't given any focus to, and that's minorities. Now, one in general, one specifically, and that's the Latino community. So, what we want to do is our company's goal is connecting dealers with buyers, right? But ultimately, everybody's trying to reach as many people as possible and drive up sales as much as possible. And by getting a good grasp of these 3 areas of what's going on with millennials, with minorities, and with mobile and how technology is evolving, if dealers can get a handle on those 3, it's going to help them obviously take their success to the next level. So in a few weeks, actually, or next week, I'm going to be out in Las Vegas, and we're going to be digging in on this deeper. But I'm pretty pumped up to connect with you guys and talk about it now and give people a prequel.
Okay, so you're saying, okay, this is something that Chrysler, as a corporate stance, they're kind of focusing a little bit more on minorities. You mentioned that it's not really on the dealer's radar per se. Why is that? Is it a fear of not knowing? I mean, has political correctness become a problem in knowing how to market effectively to segmented minorities, market segments in general? Is that a factor, or is it just because it's something that we've never thought of before?
Man, that's a really good question, Michael. So here's what we've seen, all right? For about the past, I'll say a little over a year, my company's been digging into this and working on it because even though I got a D in Spanish, I got an A in economics. So for me, I'm always, it's true. And I'm always looking for what's the next big thing that we can do to make a ridiculous amount of money. And the only way to do that is to be able to serve a ton of people well, right? So that they go, ooh, I want some. And so we've been researching what's been going on with the Latino community. Are they being served and not? And here's what the truth is. The truth is, it's just easier to keep doing what you're doing. I mean, I speak English 99% of the time. Most of us do that are English-speaking folks. But the challenge is, there's this whole community out there that isn't being served at all. What happened in the past few years is, if you notice, Google gives you a choice, right, to just set your default language. So if you speak Spanish, Google's going to be set to Spanish, right? But also, when you go to any website, if your language on your phone is set to, let's say, Spanish, the browser is going to convert that text for you, right? So you can read it in your own language. We all know this, no big deal. But what that's done is a lot of dealers don't understand that their website still isn't really in Spanish, or let's say in Canada. It's not in French. The browser's converting it, okay? So what's happening, though, is they're not really marketing to the Latino community, for example. A lot of dealers that we talked to, my business partner Tim and I were in the Chicago area last week, and we met with over 20 dealers all day long. I mean, a 13-hour day, met with 20 different owners and GMs and sat down and said, what percentage of your business come from the Latino community? Everyone without fail, it was 70 to 80% of the customers that walked to the door. Now, out of 20 dealers, we asked every single one, what percent of your marketing budget are you allocating to directly market to Spanish-speaking buyers? Take a guess. Robert, take a guess what percentage of their budget was going towards them.
0.0.
You got a guess, Michael?
About 1,000% of zero, yeah.
Yep, and survey says, ding, 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 you are both 100% correct. So in a market where 70% of the people walk through the door, $0 were being spent reaching them offline or online. And I kid you not, 19 out of 20 said, look, I'm already reaching them because my website goes to Spanish if their phone is in Spanish. No joke. So as we wrestle with this and we're going, well, why aren't they? Why aren't they? The two biggest things that I've seen that are preventing people from really reaching out to the Latino community, and I guess I should preface why I'm so focused on them with this. Automotive News did something about 6 weeks ago called the new majority. And here's something a lot of people just don't get. Last year, automotive sales increase was like 8 to 9% across the board, depending on whose statistics you want to look at, right? Mm-hmm. Overall sales growth. Do you want to take a wild guess what the growth was for Latino vehicle purchases in the last year?
Man, I think I'm all out of guesses.
Yeah.
Multiply the average times 10. There was an over 80% growth in purchases by Hispanic buyers. Yeah, and the crazy part is now is the next problem that we ran into when we were in the Chicago, Illinois market. And we actually had a GM look at us and say, these folks can't buy new cars. They're a used car buyer. That's why there's so many buy here, pay here places around here.
Well, this was obviously not one of those dealers that 70 to 80% of their current market was Latino, that the current customers was Latino.
Sadly, this is a dealer that said 70 to 80% of the people that walk in their doors are. But because his mindset was already that they couldn't get bought, he's missing out on one of the other amazing things that Automotive News just shared. And that was this. Last year, the largest increase in new car sales was in the Hispanic community.
Yeah, so it's coming around.
23% increase in new car sales alone. So these people can buy, they can get bought. Just because they don't speak English doesn't mean they're not buyable. But the problem is all the negative stuff in the news makes you think, makes a lot of dealers feel like this community is like a transient community or a community that they're not local, so they're not buyers.
Well, and something that stands out to me too, going along with this, is when we see ethnic communities in the United States, in Canada, they're a very close-knit community. they interact with each other much more. They're much more social with each other than
No doubt.
Americans are. And how that translates to business is that when you provide them a good experience, you better believe they're referring their entire community to go do business with you. So big, massive opportunity
Loyalty's
there.
through the roof.
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
you got it. One out of those 20 dealers, he didn't do any specific marketing because they had actually been in the community for 36 years. And he said their business is huge. And this dealer, 90% of their business was in the Hispanic market. And this is what he said.
Wow.
He said, these folks are so loyal. He said, when you take care of this community, like you just touched on, Michael, he said, they're a very loyal, very family-focused community. And he said, the repeat and referral business we have here is over 90%.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's
No
what
doubt.
everybody's begging
Awesome.
for. Right? Every dealer we know
Awesome.
wishes
Yeah.
they had. So there's a good opportunity there that a lot of folks are missing just because they don't understand the opportunity.
What's the what do you see as the practice for the guys that are doing it right? Are they like if you're in a market, let's say, and in fact 70 to 80% of your incoming in-store traffic is Latino, Hispanic descent, then you're in an area that is, highly populated with Hispanic descent. Correct. So you probably have some of your sales staff, a lot of your sales floor might be Hispanic, or what do? Do you bring in like a good Spanish speaking individual that, will work with will work with them if
what's your starting
This takes
point?
us back. Yeah. This goes
where do
back to
you
like
begin?
a store that, let's say there's a store that it's not 70 to 80%. What do they do?
Right? What comes first, chicken or egg? Do we wait till we've got 20, 30% asking for that before we get a bilingual person? So it is challenging. Here's what I would say step one is. So step one is make sure you've at least got someone on staff that's at least bilingual to the market you're in, right? If you're in a specific area of Canada where it's English and French, right? And I don't speak any French either, Michael, but I'm just trying to talk about French Canadians because I'm trying to be. I'm
sure there's 3 or 4 of them
part
listening.
Canadian with you. So here's the deal, make sure that whatever market you're in, you've got someone that's at least bilingual, right? And Robert, you said, the people that are doing it well, what do they do? So here's the reality. The people that say they're doing it well, they're not doing much anyway. They're not really doing any marketing in Spanish. They just have a staff that maybe all speaks Spanish, for example, and they go, "Oh, we sell 90% of our cars to Spanish-speaking
That's what
buyers."
I was kind of beating around the bush to.
Let's not beat around the bush. Those little chicken babies aren't doing anything. All they're doing is staffing their floor with people that can handle Spanish-speaking people, but they're still missing out because those folks are mostly stumbling across them. Because if you were to speak Spanish right now, when you go to Google, and anybody who speaks Spanish that's listening, go to Google and ask yourself in Spanish, and when you're searching Google, who has the best used car deals in Long Beach, California, and see what turns up. Now, here's the thing. 9 out of 10 results on that first page. A good chunk of them are going to belong to something called Viva Street, which is Spanish Craigslist. I mean, it's just clunky garbage. And then the number 1 or 2 result you're going to see is a marketing video that we did for the Spanish site that we own. And this goes back to that, and not a plug or a pitch. Well, not a pitch, but kind of a plug. A year ago, I started this because I thought there was a gap where dealers were missing connecting with these folks. So we invested tens of thousands of dollars, and I don't even want to tell you the dollar amount now 12 months later, in building the only fully responsive mobile Spanish classified site. So it's mobile first, fully responsive, 100% Spanish before the vehicles are uploaded so that when a Spanish-speaking buyer searches in Spanish, they will see the dealer's car in Google's organic search. And that's the only site in the entire country designed to do that for dealers. There's nothing else out there like it.
So if I go to Google and I search I flip the language to Spanish, it's going to bring me back the same results as search in English? No. So
it will bring you back Spanish results of whatever sites and things are in Spanish. And that's the challenge. Dealers think just because of browser.
Because it converts. It doesn't rank it like it doesn't read. Yeah. Google doesn't read it like that.
Think of it like a magical piece of glass that you're laying over a page that all of a sudden makes it readable in your language. That's what a browser does. But what a search engine does, what Google does, is Google is looking for answers to your questions on mobile, right? That was the Hummingbird algorithm update a year ago. And now Google's still trying to get those relevant results. So if you're searching in Spanish and a dealer's website is not truly Spanish text on site, it will never show up in the results. Now, that's only one of the 3 M's, though. So I don't want to spend all day on it, but that's the appetite whetter that dealers really need to, go. Step one is make sure you've got the staff to take care of those folks. Step two is when you start doing the marketing, you have to make sure the marketing routes to the people that speak Spanish. And now this was a challenge that Cars.com and AutoTrader both faced. AutoTrader used to have AutoMercado, and that was the Spanish version of AutoTrader, and it was truly in Spanish. The problem was they weren't providing numbers for the dealers that would point to the Spanish-speaking salespeople. So when somebody who only speaks Spanish calls, and English-speaking Susie says, "Thanks for calling ABC Motors. How can I help you?" What do you think would happen? Click. And so their average call times with those were under 10 seconds. Cars.com did the same thing. And a company that we know that worked with both of them saw these results firsthand and listened to the calls. So we know that those guys did it wrong. And since I used to work for Cars.com, I kind of had an inside track on that. So I knew I wanted to go out and do what they wouldn't do. So when we put together our Spanish site, we actually got local numbers for the dealers so that when someone calls, it actually rings all of the Spanish-speaking salespeople at the dealership so that when they hear that phone ring and they answer it, it actually tells them where the call's coming from so they know to answer in Spanish.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Kind of nifty tool.
Okay, so let's like you said, let's move on to your next group here. Hot topic: millennials, marketing to millennials in the car niche. How do we do that?
That is such a good question. All you have to do, and I'm gonna dumb this down so much, it's probably gonna piss off everybody that's trying to sell the hottest new millennial thing. Just be mobile and be real, right? Millennials, my kid's a millennial, my oldest, right? Which makes me feel old, by the way. But here's the reality. What do millennials want? They want to feel the same way all of us want to feel. They want to feel like, hey, it's my decision, not yours. Quit trying to sell me. I want to research and see stuff on my time, my way. And by the way, I want to do it from my phone because that's what I live on. Millennials are not hard people to reach. As a matter of fact, they're the easiest people to reach. They're already out there. They're already shopping. They're just regular folks that go, hey, look, don't treat me different because I'm a little younger than you. It doesn't make me an idiot. I've been living on this phone and doing all this mobile research a lot longer than you guys have. So millennials aren't the hard part. Millennials, though, if you market to them properly, which is by being honest, by being very real, like Robert Wiesman, I'm going to give you props right here. Robert Wiesman, back when he was Robert Wiesman, your Hyundai guy. Robert was the real deal, man. He would make these Hyundai videos. He was just real Robert. Hey, I'm Robert Wiesman. I'm standing in front of a Hyundai Elantra. Here's why it kicks butt over the Honda Accord, whatever. And he was just a real dude. And you could relate to him because you felt like he was being himself. And now meeting him in person and knowing him, he was being real. That's Robert. And it's cool. And millennials want real people.
And so do you feel like they're a little bit more expecting of transparency in business? I mean, older generations, they're kind of like, yeah, we know people are going to lie to us to make the sale. But do you think that millennials are much more demanding of this transparency piece?
That's a really good question, Michael. Yes. I think that millennials are, but I don't think it's because they're millennials. I think it's everybody, as technology has evolved and given us a behind the scenes look into what goes on in the car dealership.
It's almost anybody that's dialed into technology is more expectant of transparency now, if you think about it.
Yeah, look at reality shows, right? Like, we don't watch reality shows about different businesses like Pawn Stars, right? And that kind of stuff. We don't watch it because we want to get in the pawn business. We watch it because we go, okay, when I went there and sold my speaker box in high school for $30 to buy a promise ring or whatever, and they turn around and sell it for like $250, how did they do that, right? So everybody wants that sneak peek, that behind the scenes look.
Right.
And so I think millennials, like they've grown up their whole life with everything from, and I'm going to just tell you, here's my guilty pleasure, like the Jersey Shore, right? They've grown up with reality shows, right? They've grown up with fists and spray tans on TV. They've grown up with Pawn Stars and Storage Wars and all that. Just a ton of everything that they watch is more real and raw. I mean, the shows that we watched that focused on teenagers 20 years ago when we were sort of teenagers still, it's evolved. When you watch shows related to teens now, it's much more real and raw. So it is my opinion, and I won't say it's a fact, but based on numbers at stores that seem to do it right, it's my opinion that anyone dialed in technologically, like Robert said, expects more transparency now. And here's the cool part. The third M, the mobile side of this, the millennials have set the stage for everyone else to follow. So they grew up with it. The older generations are now adapting to what the millennials have grown up with. And the cool thing is it's shifting the buying process for everyone. The older folks might have known back in their day that there was a super hidden invoice that they'd never get to see, but they're learning and they're mobile. And now their buying, shopping habits, the experience that they create when they come into a dealership is not that far from the millennial anymore. What's the fastest growing segment of mobile users? Over 50, right? Because everybody else grew up with it. So this is where it becomes challenging for dealers, because even Facebook saw this, right? We all saw there was the mass exodus of the youth from Facebook once mom, dad, grandma, and grandpa got on board. Because it's like, oh, great, now my grandma could stalk my Facebook. And now they're going to see all the party pics that my parents were too stupid to find before. But now my parents are going to see them too, right? So Facebook started seeing that exodus. Now, here's the crazy part. What they also saw was people exiting because the ad blasting everywhere, advertisement.
Right.
But people are starting to become okay with it. They're not leaving like looking for that next social network like they did when they left MySpace and went to Facebook. But here's the thing. Dealers are going, okay, well, who do I market to? You know, I've got, let's say, trainer A over here on the right that's telling me I've got to focus on the baby boomers because they're the ones that have the money and that can get financed. I've got sales trainer B telling me to focus on the millennials because they're the up and coming and they're tuned into tech. So who in the hell do I listen to? And the reality is this. People are people. Whether they're 20 or 60, they're humans. So if you're just asking specifically, how do I market? You say, well, number one, be where everybody is, which means you better damn well be mobile friendly and responsive. I mean, that's step one. And that's just common sense intelligence in today's day and age. Step two is this. You've only got so many driveways into your dealership open right now. So if you're in the southern part of the United States where you've got a high Hispanic population and you do not have a Spanish version of your site and you do not have bilingual salespeople, then you're not even equipped, number one. But number two, if you've got a staff of bilingual salespeople, but you're not doing any specific marketing online in Spanish, you're missing the boat. I mean, at the very least, let people know that you have bilingual staff. Yeah, if that's all your ads are, just at least let them know. Here's the thing people are missing out and they don't understand is this. 7 out of 10 people, and this was a census demographic, literally just looking at this the other day. 7 out of 10 people who are in the Latino community, even if they speak English fluently, 7 out of 10 speak Spanish at home. So if that's the case, what language do you think their phone is in? Common sense. The one that they use the most, which is Spanish. And the other thing is this, and these are Google's numbers. Go to google.com/think and look. But in the Latino community, they're very tuned in technology-wise, and over 80% of their shopping is done from a mobile device.
Wow.
So if 80% of the Latino community shopping is done on a mobile device and 70% of them are speaking Spanish as their normal language every day at home, that means that the automotive dealership community is missing 70 to 80% of that community.
No doubt. I mean, this makes me think about, like, I was hanging with my kids, 9. They're 2 boys, 9 and 6. They were watching one of their shows, one of the ones that I enjoy too, called Sam and Cat. And they had somehow Cat, the dim-witted one, ended up woke up with like this little person handcuffed to her, and he was speaking some strange language. And then Sam, who my favorite is, comes in and she says, "Shut up! Listen, man, this is America. We speak English or Spanish." And that kind of just, yeah. I mean, that's it.
There you go.
Face it. I'm not here to tell you what I think about it, or I could care less. You don't make the rules to the game. You just got to learn how to play it.
Well, and that's the beautiful thing about our country, right? I mean, all of us, look at all of our heritage, all of our nationality. Very few of us really are, our lineage doesn't originate here in America.
Exactly. So
America's
get
all
over
of
it.
Ours.
They need to get over it and focus, because you're saying some obscene, some sick numbers that that you're missing. And everybody wants, as you mentioned, Matt, they want that 80% return referrals. They want the people sending their friends. They'd rather deal with those easier high closer ratios that pay more money. You get what I mean?
Yeah, but that's the part. Oh man, I love that you said that, bro. That's the most amazing thing. These people are people that are just speaking another language, so they're just as easy, just as high a closing ratio. And the reality is, if you're the first dealer on the block to start doing it right, you're going to close more, sell more. And where are they going to go? Like Michael said earlier, this is a loyal family-based community of buyers, right? So if your dealership is killing it, you're doing it right, you're out there, you're marketing, you're letting people know we're here for you, we're going to serve you, you're going to get the best experience ever, but you're saying all that in Spanish instead of English, right? Then where do you think they're going to go? They're going to come to you. They're going to have a great experience. And who are they going to tell? Everybody they know. So when your competitors are lagging behind and finally trying to play catch up, you already own the market.
Yep.
And if you're doing it right, again, you're doing it mobile. I mean, look at what we're doing right now, guys. We're recording this podcast. I'm walking around with an iPad in my hand talking to you, doing this, right? I mean, we're mobile right now. So the 3 M's, baby. It's making sure that you're mobile. You're reaching minorities, and really the Latino community is the largest. As Automotive News says, the new majority. So it should be mobile majority. And millennials have set that stage for everybody. I mean, they just kind of woke the world up to it.
Beautiful.
So,
Matt, where's the audience, catch up with you at? Where do we find you on Twitter, Facebook, and website?
I appreciate it. Yeah, just on Twitter, follow me at Konig Co. That's at KONIGCO. And the website is a really tricky one. It's Konig.co, KONIG.co. It's not a .com. Those are the two quickest, easiest places to catch up with me. And of course, you just go to Facebook and search Konig Co. You'll see the company page. Same with Google Plus, which, by the way, is my favorite, even though everybody else hates it. So, and of course, YouTube, Konig Co TV. So check it out.
Awesome. Michael, anything else, man? Are you ready?
No, I love this. I mean, hot topic. It's all about being a good human being, being an exceptional human being, and then marketing to the right segments with the right language, with the right common sense, and the right message, and you'll dominate the market.
And this is something right here that if you're dialed in right now and you're not in a deal, management dealer principal chair as a salesperson, this is something that you can reach out and start doing yourself immediately too. Start speaking and getting dialed into this community.
Matt, thanks so much for being with us today. We appreciate you taking the time.
Yep.
No, thank you guys. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. Man. Thanks a lot, man. You did a great job. Thank you. And there you have it, everybody. That was, again, our friend Matt Koenig from Konig Co. Like the name spelled sounding one way and then sounding another way confuses me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, he had an interesting explanation. I don't even know the words he was using about the real translation, the Konig,
but nonetheless,
or something like
that. The guy
that.
knows his stuff. He brought the thunder. I've seen him speak. Out there on the circuit a couple times. He's great. He's pumped full of knowledge. He's pumped full of passion. And I hope that you were able to get some value out of today's session. As a matter of fact, speaking of value, if you're getting any out of this, do us a favor. Go to iTunes, subscribe to the channel, but most importantly, try to leave us a review and let us know what you like, what you don't like, what you want more of, what you want less of. We appreciate each and every one of you that have taken the time to do that. Mike.
Yep. Yeah, and it's one of those topics where people are hesitant sometimes to lead feedback, but you got to know, Robert and I thrive on the feedback because we're here. We want to be able to give you the best shows possible. Don't forget to check out our website, www.thedealerplaybook.com/26, where you're going to be able to find the show notes from this episode. We're going to link you up to all of the resources and information that Matt presented throughout this session. Also, do us a favor and subscribe right there because you'll be able to get these show notes and the link to the audio right in your inbox. That's again www.thedealerplaybook.com. And then do us a favor, follow us on Twitter at Michael A. Cirillo, and for Robert at Your Hyundai Guy. We'd love to connect with you there. Also check out our Facebook page where you're going to get some cool resources and strategies, tips, wall posts, all that kind of stuff that is going to help you dominate your market. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll talk to you next time.
See you next time.